talk a lot about urgency on this program and competitiveness, so on an occasion where you see it, it's worth calling it out in a good way. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 6, Reds 1 yesterday in Cincinnati. And I'm going to be honest with you here. I thought they'd win the game before it was played. And I don't often think that, certainly not before a series finale. Here's why. If you go back over the past 8 such games, and I'm purposely exempting the doubleheader in Detroit because that really wasn't the same type of situation. That was the entire series in one day. If you go back over the past 8 series, what you'll find is that the Pirates lost, and I'm deliberately doing this in reverse, lost to the Rays, won in Denver, beat the Rockies, lost to the Cardinals, lost to the Twins, lost to the Angels, lost to the Blue Jays, lost to the Braves, lost to the Giants. That's all in a row. 7 out of the last 8. Again, exempting that doubleheader in a day series in Detroit. And if there's been one commonality throughout that, it's been that Derek Shelton has a tendency, as do most managers, by the way, to roll out what gets commonly referred to in baseball as the Sunday lineup, regardless of what day the game is actually being played. Day game after a night game, a day game or a getaway game before a day off so that a player can actually have 2 days off for some rest and recovery. Almost all managers at this point do it with their catchers, especially now that Yadier Molina is retired. But you'll also have some, like Shelton, and again, he's not alone, who'll do it with a lot of guys. The only exception for him, and it's eminently understandable, is Brian Reynolds. But Reynolds, when he gets his days off, it just means he goes to DH. But when he goes to DH, Andrew McCutchen is out. But then Kutch is 37, so Kutch is going to need his rest more than most. Well, anyway, forget all that for one day, because yesterday at Great American Ballpark, I'm going to read the whole lineup for you here. It was McCutchen, Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, Rowdy Tellez, Nick Gonzalez, Brian Hayes, Connor Joe, Jack Sawinski, and Jason DeLay behind the plate. So other than DeLay, really, that's the team. I'm not going to suggest that this is some, killer lineup or whatever, or this is the ultimate set of Pirates you can have to fill up a card, but that's pretty much it. And in fact, being honest with you, I'd rather have DeLay than Yasmani Grandal. So as soon as you see the lineup, you have that sense, don't you? You go, oh, they're serious. Oh, this is cool. They actually want to win this game. That's all right. That's all right. And then they go and they do it, and they do it by actually hitting the ball. Meaning they had a 6-1 lead through 6 innings, closed it out. Some good pitching involved. I don't mean to ignore that. Luis Ortiz, who is starting to show himself pretty well on a regular basis. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts for Luis. Kyle Nicholas, who's had some rough patches this season, 2 scoreless innings, a walk and a strikeout. Aroldis Chapman goes onto the mound where he once made himself famous with a perfect inning and 2 Ks. Just an all-around good game. And it was the right result against the right opponent, meaning someone inside the division, someone inside that pack. The game was treated as if it mattered more than, let's say, the next game or the next games that they're playing in Atlanta. They're not going to catch the Braves, even if the Braves don't win the NL East, and they probably won't given the way the Phillies are going. The Braves are going to be one of the 3 wildcard teams. So you can almost sense that somebody looked at the standings Somebody looked at the schedule. Somebody saw the travel day today. And the Pirates, by the way, flew straight down to Atlanta from Cincinnati. And someone said, we got to win this game. We really, really want to win this game. And then you hear what Shelton had to say after the game. I'm going to read you the quote verbatim. We bounced back really well. He's referring to not having had a great opening with the blowout loss Monday. I think this club is resilient, he continued. We didn't play well the first day here. We had good at-bats, but we didn't throw the ball well. To be able to bounce back and to win 2 in a division series was really important for us, and I'm proud of our group. Proud of the group? Heck, I'm proud of the manager. I'm proud of the manager for acknowledging that a game could be important. I'm not even being sarcastic. I swear. It's been, this is the 5th year. And if this is just the beginning of anyone taking these games seriously, and look, I'm not suggesting you don't give guys days off. I'm actually a proponent and a believer that athletes will perform better over the long haul if they're given sufficient R&R. But I do think there's a time and a place for it, and I do think that there are specific opponents in which you just have to say, listen, we're facing the Cubs today. We're facing the Brewers today. We're facing teams that are right around us in this race. We can't give these away. So whoever made this happen, for whatever reason, all seriousness here, no snark. Good job. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Biagio, who asks, DK, is Milwaukee the new baseball model? Has the Brewers' performance supplanted that of the Rays? When I was up there last, about a month ago, and talking to some people about the atmosphere that the Brewers have made, the impression that they've made on their players who exist in their orbit, there's a sense that they've been successful to the extent that people around the game do see it the way you're describing. I don't know if they're the baseball model. I think when you're talking about smarts and ingenuity and so forth, you're still talking about the Rays. The difference, the obvious and glaring difference between the Brewers and the Rays is that the Brewers will spend a little bit. And the Brewers, of course, are based in a market that's 2/3 the size of Pittsburgh and significantly smaller than the Tampa-St. Petersburg area in Florida, though the Rays are just terrible at generating revenue. What the Brewers have is an owner in Mark Attanasio who will spend, and a management that's got a pretty good sense for when to send a prominent player out and try to bring significant younger returns back. The Josh Hader trade is the most recent one really that stands out, but there have been others where they realize they're overpaying for a certain position or a certain asset and they want to just keep replenishing the pool. That's a Rays thing. If you think about some of those types of players that the Rays have moved out, like a Blake Snell where they were able to get a real haul for him, and they just keep loading and loading and loading up their farm system. Now, this year, the Rays aren't so hot. They have pretty much the same record the Pirates do. We just saw them in Pittsburgh this past weekend, and there's some talent there, obviously, but it's not what it's been in the recent past. So they're going to have a natural kind of ebb that pops up every now and then, and they're within that. I don't know that the respect factor from around the game has waned, but when you look at the Brewers, the thing that jumps out to people that I talk to in the game is that they expect internally to win the Central Division, and as such, they attempt to craft the rest of the roster in a way that they can get through some playoff series. That's been the bug up there. If you think about it, the Brewers get there a lot. They hardly ever make any noise. And that was true even when they had Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff in the rotation, like at their peaks. We've also seen them make bold moves like bringing in Christian Yelich, and just this past offseason, Rhys Hoskins at 3 years and $39 million. So I don't see them as the Rays. I don't see them being looked at the same way the Rays are looked at for the things that the Rays get appreciated the most. But yes, the respect factor is definitely there. And especially when you combine this with the semi-pseudo-quasi fall of the Cardinals, although they've been playing better baseball of late, they're certainly the class of the Central Division. I'll be heading down to Atlanta to cover the series with the Braves at Truist Park, and we'll do another one of these tomorrow. Thanks so much for listening.